Hi, this is Luke. I'm just going to play around with some flavours today. I've got my little syringe here which I'm going to pour everything into and use as a measure. I've just got some plasticine there, obviously to stop to hold it upright, as well as to stop the liquid running out. Making new flavours, I mean, if you just mix a couple of flavours together, it's one thing, but I'm starting to get more and more adventurous with my flavours as I sort of get used to the different flavours that I've got available. For this little test, I'm going to be using Totally Wicked menthol in the extra high, I think they call it, or super high, which is 36 milligrams. I'm going to be using the Hilton. Okay, now in another review I did, I said I didn't really like the Hilton by itself, so that's why I'm going to be using that as a base. So I still want a tobacco-y sort of flavour. Again, that's in the 36 milligram. Now this one is my original coconut flavour I got. Now this one is actually in high rather than super high, so it's only 18 milligrams. And I'm going to be adding, so that's basically what I had before, is the coconut with the menthol and the Hilton. Already had that already. What I'm going to try today is adding some of the strawberry. The strawberry I find to be a little bit weak, like the flavour is a little bit weak. I find that it's quite a very good natural flavour, and I think because it's a natural flavour rather than a sweet lolly strawberry flavour, that's why it's a very subtle strawberry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to the mix and basically try and sweeten up the flavour a little bit with the strawberry. Now, before I mentioned that the one of the juices I'll be using is only 18 milligrams, so that's going to reduce the nicotine content a little bit. And I'll also be adding some glycerine. This is the brand that I picked up. It's pretty standard stuff. It's got their glycerol, BP, so it's the standard stuff. Anyway, that's to make the vapour a little bit thicker and to, make it less runny, because I find if it's not as runny, it tends to dry out quicker. Anyway, so because we'll be lowering the nicotine content with both the glycerine and the coconut 18 milligram, I'll also be using some of the Totally Wicked e-liquid platinum ice, which I'm not sure if you can see there, down the bottom there it says it's 54 milligrams. This stuff's been tested by independent sources on the forums. Comes out averaging 53.9 milligrams. So it's right on the money when it's talking about 54. Alright, so the other tools I've got available is obviously the syringe. I've also got a smaller syringe here, and with this smaller syringe, this one's a 5mm syringe, whereas this bigger one is a 10mm. So the 5mm, obviously I can be more accurate with these smaller amounts. The other thing I'll be using is a 510 Titan e-cigarette to vape it. At the moment it's got another flavour in there, but I've got not a brand new one, but a broken in atomizer that I have cleaned out with a Coca-Cola bath and allowed that to dry, and that's just a blank cartridge with no filling in it. Right, so let's begin. Alright, so a bottle, I had this bottle, you can see I've labelled it before. I've washed that out, so I've got the bottle, the little eyedropper thing, and of course the cap. So the first thing we need to do is we need to fill up here. So now I'm not sure how much coconut I've got left, so what I want to do is I want to make sure I'll be able to taste the coconut. So I'm going to find out first how much coconut I've got before I go any further. I'm just going to pour the rest in here. There's probably only a couple of drops left. There we go. Alright, so basically, looking at this, I've got basically 1 mil of coconut. Now before, when I used the coconut, I just wipe that off at the top there. Before I used, I wouldn't say half, I'd say a little bit more than half. So rather than 2 parts of the base flavour and 1 part coconut, it was about 2 parts to 1.5 parts. So if I've got 1 mil in there, then I'm going to need at least, I don't know, like another mil of the Hilton, at least. Okay, so I'm just going to put 1.5 mil in there. Just move that to the side a bit. So, I mean, this is not an exact science. I mean, you know, there we go. We're just over the 2 mil mark. So I'll just give it a little bit of extra. Because I mean, this is not a coconut flavour. This is a, you know, there we go, 3 mils. Perfect. Okay. Now, I want, as I say, to spice it up with a bit of strawberry. Okay, so as I say, the strawberry's got a nice smell to it, but it's not very high flavour content. Now that's at about 3.9 now, up to 3.9. Now with the menthol, it's you don't want to use too much of this. Unless you really like menthol. I just use it really to smooth things out a bit. So I'm going to put about 0.5 mil total of that in there. Now I'm just going to give it a smell. Yep, so yes, that's about the right amount of menthol. I can smell the menthol, but it's not overpowering. I really like this Decadent Vapor flavoured coconut. There's no actual nicotine content in it, but it's really nice. Now I can see that I've already sort of reached the 5 mil mark. So I'm not going to actually be able to fit any more any of the vegetable glycerin in. So what I might do is just top up that 5 mil. The 5 mil is just a little bit higher with a bit of the platinum ice, just to give it a bit of extra kick in the nicotine content range. Okay. So now we've basically got a, I'd say roughly 30 milligrams, I guess, give or take 2 milligrams, and essentially it's I don't know, it's got a yellow, it's got a bit of a pinkish tinge to it. So that would be the strawberry, obviously. Now they say these are 5 mil dropper bottles. Now I can see there's still a little bit of room in there to move. So what I'm going to do is just add a bit of the glycerin anyway. So that's about 5.5 mils, and it's you know, almost at the top. So that is the actual mixing part. I'll just put that back on there. Yeah, it's right up to the top. So I'll just put the cap back on, and just for good measure, give it a little shake. I mean, it'll mix anyway.